Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order.
Mayor Burson?
Here.
Oh, sorry.
You want to do sunshine law first?
As required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was provided on March 28, 2019 by publication of express times and electronic posting on the same day. Mayor Burson?
Here.
Mr. Dean?
Here.
Mr. Marqueta?
Here.
Here.
Yes.
Please stand for flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. You want to make a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion?
Second.
Okay, we're going to go, all in favor?
Aye.
We're going to go in at around 7:03 for attorney-client privilege relating to the township's affordable housing plans.
We never get a nice or big surprise. We're always getting cold for Christmas.
I'm sure we're gonna get something.
I told John, double check on Dow and double check on Furman.
Yeah.
That's what I told him.
Okay, Brad.
Hello.
Okay. Anyone want to make a motion to come out of executive session?
Make the motion?
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're coming out around 7:22 for executive session for about 20 minutes discussing attorney-client privilege relating to township's affordable housing plans. We don't really have any action to take as a result of that, so...
Do you want to open a public comment?
Well, you're going to stay for the ordinances anyway, so you want to wait until after we do the ordinances, then we'll do public comment? Okay. Okay. Looking for a motion to introduce ordinance 105, 2019, creating the MF1 district zoning ordinance on Dumont Road site for 66 units. Anybody want to make
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mayor Burson?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Motion for ordinance number 106, 2019, MF2 district zoning ordinance for the Furman site for 64 units. I'll make the motion. Anybody want a second?
A second.
Any questions, comments, discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Burson?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes. Yes.
And looking for a motion to introduce ordinance number 107, 2019. That's an ordinance amending Chapter 60 of the Greenwich Township Code regarding garden-style apartments.
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Questions, comments? Roll call?
Mayor Burson?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes. Yes.
Looking for a motion to open public comment?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone wishing to come up, make any comments? Or...
Hi, Andrea Sherlow.
Yeah.
Andrea Sherlow, 204 Bond Way, Stewartsville, New Jersey. I had reached out to Frank over the weekend after the survey was done, because my husband, who takes care of anything in the berm behind our property, he happened to notice that one of the trees was cut in half and one of them was cut down the middle. So we were just inquiring about the timing of the survey, about 125 feet beyond their property line. And I also testified in June that due to the fact that the current trees that are planted there aren't really being actively maintained. And so we've just taken it upon ourselves, since we've lived there for the last 14 years, cutting down the vines, making sure the trees get fertilized, that they grow, and, to some degree, there's a lot of debris back there. If you don't clear it out, this is a bit of a safety hazard. So, anyway, that's why we had planted trees there. And, in terms of the berm, and depending on where we interpret now, with the new property lines, that's sort of why I inquired as well, right? Depending on the definition of 125 feet from a residential, and then, as I understand, the Ingerman property would be 50 feet of the buffer, right? I think that's part of my inquiry, Frank, was not necessarily about, okay, debate where they're at, but no matter what, in my opinion, they're probably in the 50 feet section that probably needs new trees anyway. And so we think they'll grow back, so I'm not here about asking for reimbursement, right? It's just clear that there were irrigation lines, and, as Mike said in his response, that they probably shouldn't cut them in that way. So that, I think, is us as the residents, we have a lot of concern about that buffer and how it's going to be interpreted. Hence, we also ask for a copy of the plans, or make sure that, the ordinance, that we understand. So that's sort of the public comment. I think we also need to get interpretation of, is it the town land? Is it Ingerman's land? As I understand, from Helio, all we know, I don't know what the current ordinance said, but I understand that the current buffer was built by Lowe's before we lived there, right? And they were required to put in the trees. But we really never got the answer on maintenance. And what is the maintenance what's the maintenance plan when the ownership of the land transfers?
Okay. Yeah, I could, so as I understand, first of all, the site plans are sort of work in progress. It's going to go to the land use board, and you'll have an opportunity to see it when it's there. Preliminarily speaking, the 125-foot buffer, as I understand it, starts from the property line of the end. So the town owns that property. So if it's not being maintained, I think it should be maintained until we transfer. It will be transferred to Ingerman. So Ingerman is going to own it. So part of that will be is if they're not maintaining the property, then the town will have to fine them or something. But they're going to have to maintain it. The 50-foot buffer, so you're going to have 125-foot buffer, and you're going to have a 50-foot buffer that is going to require, like you said, trees, bushes, whatever. So 50 feet of that buffer will have more plantings in it. I'm assuming the 50 feet are going to be within the burn area. So from the property line through the burn is the 50 feet. So they're going to have to spruce up the berm. The berm's going to have to conform to the regulations that are going to be required of it, how high and how wide. So if it doesn't conform now, they're going to have to make it conform, and they're going to have to put trees and plantings and everything in there. We don't have final site plan, but I think that's how it's going right now.
Okay. Well, so I was under the impression, I think even from the last meeting, right, that funding is really tight, so I think what you're saying is their submission has to include the trees and burn, correct?
Yeah, well, remember, the burn's there, so they'd have to,
Actually not.
well, if it's not,
Some sections of it are eroding.
all right, so they're going to have to,
At my husband's, at our property,
Mhm.
maybe the house next to us, but the further on you move down that line, because the trees haven't been maintained, it is eroding.
all right, so that, like I said,
That's the way into the farm field, so I think both issues need to be addressed.
yeah, so that burn's going to have to conform to the specifications. So they're going to be responsible for that. So, we'll relay that. The other thing is, I don't want you guys to be surprised about anything that's going on there. So I asked Ingerman to give us a schedule of when they're going to be on the property and what they're going to do. So we're working on getting that. I don't think they're going to be there anytime soon, again, but I don't want any more surprises. So we're going to try to get a schedule out, and we'll put it out on the website as to when they're going to be there and what they're going to do.
Right. Because I think that's one thing the residents asked for, too. We want to be part of it, we want to make sure that we're included in understanding the plans, right?
Yeah, now remember, when we did the original zoning, Brian Baylor was part of that group. So the zoning now is not substantially different than what he approved.
Right, well, I think that was one of our other questions, is what happened to that subcommittee? We thought that was going to
Well, because we didn't really change it. I mean, the subcommittee came up, the only thing we had to really change substantially,
No,
but
one of the problems, legally with the subcommittee is John didn't feel that he could discuss attorney-client privilege information with that subcommittee if the people on there were not either on a land use board or the township committee where they took an oath not to talk about it, so.
true, that was one, you're right, thank you for correcting me on it. That was one reason that John didn't want to continue with it, but the other thing is that hasn't substantially been changed, the only change was the number of units. The site plan itself, pretty much is going to conform to basically what Brian really looked at and saw.
And we're still keeping it to the 66?
Yeah, 66
Yeah,
units.
that's what the
Yep.
ordinance we introduced tonight limits it.
You weren't sure, because it was a
Yeah.
changing.
And the berm, if I am Frank and I happen to be on several conversations about that, the berm, I think they are going to redo it, because my understanding is that berm, they're going to try to raise that berm up higher, closer to your property lines in order to obscure the view of the buildings.
Yeah.
So I think that's all going to be addressed when they I think they're going to probably put a whole new berm in when they're doing the excavating
Well, I think
and
that's
planning.
helpful to us.
And then from that berm, the rest of the buffer, the setback, will be maintained like grass mowing, pretty much. It'll be just open space. But they'll be required to maintain that, just like it's a lawn.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure, because, I mean, now they look like they're going up to the property level, and you thought there was some degree of space, so that's why I think I was seeing the plans and being able to weigh in on that.
As soon as we can get it to the public, we definitely will.
What did they do there? They were just marking?
They were surveying.
They were just doing the survey.
But some trees got cut down?
Apparently,
Would
yeah.
you like to see the picture?
Yeah, you sent pictures, you
I
got, I
thought,
bet
didn't
you got them.
No, I didn't see them.
Rick, I know you know trees. I mean, they literally slashed a 6-foot tree in half.
The reason sometimes we don't have everything is we're not allowed to send emails to
Yeah, no, I
everybody, so.
understood. I saw that and I didn't forward it around.
So I got
Well, I don't know how a geological study and
They
And soil
sliced-
sampling.
And we purposely made these shade trees, because that's another point. The current trees, just so you know, they're reaching very high to get to the sun. And what's happening now is they're so top-heavy, one of ours actually in that last storm came over and just missed the fence by like 10, 15 feet. So Frank, you had asked, why are we out there maintaining? Well, I think we're responsible if something happens to our property too. So anyway, that one got sliced there, and they sliced this one down the back half.
the people that were doing the soil samples.
Yes.
Well, they
Well, no, the surveying,
The
the
marking.
soil samples.
So I had asked Ingerman to replace those trees, and you're saying they're still viable, they don't need replacing?
I was writing you back to say, we think they'll regrow. If they're not a problem with where they're planted, if they would give us cash instead of trees, I think we're okay with it, because our concern is you don't buy the right trees, because they're
Yeah.
not getting the sun. These are specifically
And like Bob said,
designed.
I don't know really what is gonna happen once they start building the berm. If all the trees are coming down and putting new ones in, I don't know at this point.
That's why we want to say in it, we built trees for a purpose for 13, 14 years to get to the desired height. I get that every resident has a different treatment of their back plan. So I don't want to speak for all of my neighbors. Every one of us, I think, has a vested interest in understanding where those plans come against their property line. I also equate it very much to all the consideration I've seen this committee put to the other side of Wyndham that was affected by, building of the town park, right, and the row of trees there, and this is going to be right in our backyards, guys. This is different than having open.
We're expecting you to have the same type of thing there, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. I mean, that's what we're expecting, a berm with trees and everything, so.
That was my point of
Yeah.
funding. If funding's tight, I don't think in the interest of fairness, right?
No, it's not funding, that's in the ordinance. They have to do it. It has nothing to do with funding. What I was questioning was, I thought you may have wanted a second berm,
Well, I do.
which isn't gonna, it's not in the plans, the second berm, just so you know.
I think we want it wider,
Yeah.
to make sure that it addresses, like I said, 3/4 of it is probably eroded, which comes into the end. The property line is at a slant. I mean, we know that, so depending on where you're at, you're more directly impacted by this. We happen, the way our house is built, we happen to have more distance behind our fence than some of the other neighbors do.
Okay, so,
All right?
once again, the berm is required, it'll be there. Once they start getting into it, we'll get more detail on it, but there is specifications to it.
Hi, Frank Russo, 206 Yvonne Way. live right next door, so I can tell you what it looks like in my backyard when you don't maintain the berm. Part of which, if it was a disaster, I moved in, and
Have you ever brought it to the town? Because the town owns that property, it should have been maintained. Has it been ever brought to anybody?
Like, when you first plant the trees and you have the ropes and the stakes and everything's holding it up, it was literally not touched since that point, it looks like. The trees had to go around the ropes, and then they're weak. Some of them are down, some of them, so I understand why they did what they did. It's beautiful the way they did it. And part of the concern is that we have kind of a repeat, but now it's not farmland, right? It's something that we do want to, kind of obscure and maintain, some privacy. Who's financially responsible for actually, planting the trees and things like that? The developer?
Yeah.
Okay. So I understand that subcommittee kind of fell by the wayside, because we're on the different stages now. I would urge you to maybe consider a subcommittee just on, our block, where there's maybe, someone from you guys, maybe some of the residents that are, directly impacted.
I was already thinking about that.
So just deal with the buffer, right? Recommendations to elevation, work with the engineers, whatever, with the plans. And, a lot of it is because, as much as we try, as much as Andrew's on top of it, she says, oh, there's a meeting tonight, can you go? If we can, it would just give us an opportunity to have more direct input.
Yep.
You guys had listened when we first came out, and, I hate to see it get lost now.
Yeah, I want to talk to John. I was actually thinking about that. I would love it if you guys, because I'd love for you to deal with them and have input,
Yeah.
Saves
And
us a...
ordinances and things like that, this isn't an area where attorney-client privilege would be breached. If it's just...
No, that was the census of that, because we were going through sensitive things, but I think what Frank's saying is right, and I don't think it will be a problem with Ingerman, because they're going to be your neighbor for years. They're going to manage that property. They don't build and sell. They manage. So they're going to be the neighbor. And they've seemed pretty responsive, even with these trees. When you sent it, they apologized pretty quickly about it. And
Yeah, like I said, we weren't getting to
I think we'd be
replace
very
them.
open to that.
Maybe we should add more trees to
I
it
guess what we're
now.
saying is we don't have a problem talking to John to talk to him about that.
Yeah,
I mean, get a committee
Want
going.
to add more trees for that exact purpose, right? If they're going to get this.
Yeah, it's true. If they're gonna redo it, it may not be
Yeah.
worth it. But, we're also thinking about getting a project, leader for this whole affordable housing. So what I was envisioning was, we get a project leader to handle it. They would be informing you every step of the way, or the residents, because that's what we want them to do. And maybe they can form and work with this subcommittee. So, we're trying to get the requirements together. I think we're all in agreement that we want a project leader to handle this, and to stay on top of it. So they can look at everything, that we can hit all the deadlines, and take care of all the residents' concerns. So that's what we're looking to do. We're going to get a project leader, and I think this is a good idea. I don't know how we would function, how we would build this subcommittee. Got to look into that more, if it's members of the land use board plus residents, is it just I don't know. So I'm going to work with John, we'll see how we can come up with that, to try to give you input. I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely, and John has my contact info.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to talk to, we're kind of a closely knit cul-de-sac, to talk to everybody, but I think a direct line back and forth, especially on issues like that really impact us,
Well,
just feel much more of a...
right, and that's going to be one of the requirements for the project leader. He's going to have to communicate to the residents, so look for that.
Look, so like even like with the tree and, if we have something like a subcommittee, it's so much easier to address issues like that.
Yeah, we'll try to get
It's
it.
not emails and all this stuff.
Okay,
So, I appreciate it, thank you guys.
yep.
Yep, no problem.
My husband had another idea. If they prefer to just give us trees, we'll plant them somewhere else in the yard. We're open to it if they're more work with us. We'll take one of the trees.
Yeah, the one they cut in half, I mean, they grow 8 to 10, 12 inches a year or something like that. So 3 years worth of growth. They just cut in half.
All right, well, I'll have to talk to them and see.
Okay, you done?
Yeah.
Motion to close public comment.
I make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay. Okay, do we have any discussions on the budget tonight or not?
The only other thing we have to do is, you guys need to make notes on the record to forward all 3 ordinances to the land use board
that's
for
right.
master plan consistency review.
Yeah. Okay. Looking for a motion to refer the 3 ordinances to the Land Use Board for review for master plan consistency. You going to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments, discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Okay. Budget, I don't really have any discussion on budget, we're going to do that on the 15th, but anybody have anything they wanted to bring up tonight to discuss?
I mean, we have a lot to discuss, but
Oh, yeah.
not prepared for tonight.
No.
Can we don't, now that Mike's here, can we go into executive with Mike?
Yep, we can do that. Okay.
We can't bring up any new business or anything, right? Or can I?
It's not new business.
Tonight?
No, not on that.
Oh,
I'm talking about something else.
Oh, yeah, if it's something like it, there's something that someone came up with, right?
Yeah, I mean,
You talking about the thing from the park?
Yeah, all right.
You want to get a motion to do
Yeah, if you guys were clear with it, because I want to just let Joe go ahead and do it.
Okay, yeah, you can bring that up, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we just, there's 2 small repairs that need to be done at the concession stand related to plumbing, and Joe sent a quote out, and I just want to get approval to allow him to move ahead with that. So I forwarded the email to you guys, and I had a
I
chance
think
to.
it's for like $900.
It was like $900,
You want to make
yeah.
a motion that's up to $1,000, just to make it easy?
Yeah, it's fine. So a motion to authorize Joe to move ahead with some additional plumbing work we need at the concession stand. Nothing exceeds $1,000.
I'll second. Any questions, comments, discussion? Paul, you good?
Good.
You good? Okay, roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yep.
Okay. And anybody want to make a motion to go back in executive session, to discuss the engineering issues with the regarding affordable housing? Anybody want a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We shouldn't be too long. 15, 20 minutes. We're not going to take any action either at the end of this. I guess nobody's going to. Okay. I'll make a motion, we come back to public session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're coming back into public session. We were discussing engineering and legal issues, I guess legal engineering issues.
Yeah.
With the engineer during executive session, and no action was taken, and no action will be taken now. You know what, Lisa? This is off the wall, but see that thing over there? That's an old map here. You seem to be into some of that stuff. Do you think you can find anything that we can put that in and preserve it somehow, like that thing's preserved?
Well, we did talk about it. I think it's a duplicate of that.
Is it?
It was the only thing that,
That's like the original someone found in the house that gave to us and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's a nice thing.
yeah.
Do you know of any way you could at least look into, seeing what we could do with it, and how much it would cost and stuff like that? But I hate to see it just hanging here all the time. It bothers me when I do see it, so.
Yeah.
Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they make something that big.
Okay, anybody else have any other business? Motion to adjourn?
Second? Was that you making the
I'm
motion?
making a motion,
I'll
yeah.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.